Welcome this afternoon to this important public lecture that is hosted by the Montego Bay Community College, Department of Curriculum Development and Assessment. I am your moderator, Shashoy Shaw, and I'm thrilled to be guiding you through today's program, themed Shielding Your Digital World, Data is the New Gold. In today's digital age, our personal information is constantly being controlled, analyzed, and in many ways commodified. As privacy activist Brune Shermeyer wisely said, privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is about control. Today, we aim to empower you with the knowledge and tools to take control of your digital footprints. Let's get started. To begin our program, I invite Mr. Ruiz Warren to lead us in an opening prayer.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for a new day. Thank you for the blessings that you have afforded us so far. We thank you for this opportunity to be in this forum where we can share, we can learn, we can realize our potential. Pray your blessings on the proceedings, on each participant. We pray that today's exercise will make us better. We will be in a better position to serve not only ourselves but our others. We ask now that you will lead and direct. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please stand and join us as we honor our nation with the singing of the national anthem. So we have the instrumental being played. We do not sing it, but we listen to it. Now to officially welcome us, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Sania Madden, Vice Principal of Academic Services here at the Montego Bay Community College. Welcome, Dr. Madden, please.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Good afternoon, everyone. How are we all doing? I thought you would have said excited, ready to learn, ready to protect my personal data, because that is why we are here. Our moderator, Ms. Sashoy Shaw, guest presenters, Mr. Lynch Sinclair and Mr. Karim Russell. I see our heads of departments, senior lecturers, students, good afternoon. Earlier, I read an article, and the article stated, clear and present danger. the fight against cybercrime looks as uncertain as ever. Businesses are under mounting pressure to enhance cybersecurity across their operations and greater fear the repercussions of a data breach. This statement underlies the lack of confidence among many businesses in combating the growing risk of cybercrime. It indicates that they are ill-prepared for the fight ahead. It is therefore up to us as individuals to protect our data. This is why it is a pleasure for me to be here to not only welcome you, but also to be a part of this informative process. I want to welcome our guest speakers, and I'm especially proud. I remember when I heard who the guest speakers were, I was happy because these are our own lecturers. And it shows that we do not have to go outside to get the information and the quality that is required. We have it right here, and today you get to benefit from it. I get to benefit from it. I also want to welcome our heads of departments. I see Mr. Warren, Mrs. Grant Williams. I don't want to leave anyone out. Senior lecturers, I'm seeing you all. Mrs. Spence Robinson, our Director for the Workforce Division, is there. Mrs. Dorban, our Head of Department for Computer and Technical Studies. I will call no more names because I will get into trouble. But I see our senior lecturers smiling brightly. There is Miss Williams, Miss Cocker. I see our lecturer, Mr. Bernard, Miss Senior Lecturer, Mrs. Moore Clark. Welcome all. Miss Hamilton was here earlier. She's still here. Mrs. Hamilton, Mr. Palmer, Head of Quality Assurance. Welcome to you all. And to our students, I'm seeing administrative staff here as well. Right? Ms. Shepherd is here. Anyone else? Miss? Our admission staff is here. Welcome to all of you. I want to welcome our students. I'm especially proud to see the students here showing an interest in what we have to offer. You know, earlier as staff, we were introduced to a cybersecurity course. And as I went through the course, I tell no lie, I was in breach of 90% of what they said I should not do, right? And so that course was eye-opening, and it allowed me to change much of my passwords, right? I'm seeing other lecturers saying yes, yes, right? And so today, I am hoping to learn even more and be able to apply it to my life. And I hope students and the lecturers that as we listen, that we not just listen for the sake of listening, but we apply it to our lives. It's very serious. Once our identity is taken from us, then that is it. And sometimes we don't know the importance of a name or personal name until somebody takes that from us. And so I want to welcome you. I hope everyone is feeling welcomed. If I did not mention your name, welcome to you all. I see our curriculum development and assessment director here. I want to especially thank him and the department for putting on this public lecture. It is very important that as a college, we not only educate those students who are here, but we educate our external stakeholders. And so this is an avenue through which we can do so. Please sit back, enjoy, and learn, and later we will all apply. Thank you very much.
Please give her another round of applause. Mr. Charles Ramsey, our executive administrator, has been assisted, and we welcome you. I know that Dr. Madden had done the official welcome, right? So we want to thank her for that warm welcome and for reminding us of the importance of data protection. I'm excited to introduce our first presenter, Mr. Karim Russell. And I'm going to share a little about Mr. Russell before he comes with his presentation. Karim Russell is an experienced educator and an IT professional with over 19 years of expertise in teaching and training in fields of information technology, computer science, programming, and database design. His career reflects a deep commitment to fostering digital literacy, technical competence, and cybersecurity awareness among diverse learners. Karim holds a Bachelor of Science with honors in computing with management studies from the University of Technology, Jamaica, as well as a postgraduate diploma in education and training from the Vocational Training Development Institute, where he was recognized with the Academic Award for highest GPA. Further advancing his expertise in education, he earned a Master of Science in Education from Walden University. To enhance his professional capacity in the rapidly evolving field of cybersecurity, Karim completed the Cisco Certificate in Introduction to Cybersecurity and earned a Data Protection Certification jointly offered by eLearning Jamaica and University of Technology, UTech. With his extensive background in both academic instruction and technical training, Karim brings a wealth of knowledge and a practical perspective on the importance of cybersecurity in today's digital landscape. His dedication to education and technology makes him a valuable contributor to conversations on protecting information and increasing connected world. Please put your hands together and welcome our first presenter, Mr. Karim Russell.
Thank you so much. I can't believe those things were about me. I felt very old. Ms. Shaw, moderator, thank you again for those words. Dr. Madden, VP for Academic Services. Director of Curriculum, Mr. Phillips. Heads of Department, senior lecturers, students, well-wishers, academics, admin staff, and of course, my wife is somewhere down there, so beaming. Thank you very much for having me present to you this afternoon on cybersecurity. Let me start this thing going. Now, cybersecurity is really an important aspect in our lives today. But before I jump into speaking about the importance, how we work with cybersecurity, some threats and some best practices, let's break the ice a bit. And so, a teacher in my soul, I really want to ask you to see if I can solve these riddles or these brain teasers quickly. How do you spell candy with just 2 letters? Just shout it out. How do you spell candy with just 2 letters? Nobody? All right, hear the words now. C and Y. All right, let's do one more. A cat has 3 kittens, Daisy, Kitty, and Gracie. What is the mother's name?
Yes.
Somebody said the answer? What? What is the mother's name? Yes. Wasn't a question, it was a statement. All right, and that is what we want to bring across, is to think outside the box and don't be closed-minded. Let's do some more. What is in the center of Paris that can be found in Washington or London?
R.
A girl.
Sorry.
Yes, R in the center of Paris. Let's do 2 more, which is correct for the English major. 6 and 6 is 11, or 6 and 6 are 11.
Well, it is for the English.
Yes, sir? What you say? It's not 11, it's 12. Right, it's 12, it's not 11. Right, finally, what does this mean? I understand, and that's what I want everybody to say at the end of our presentation. I understand. There's more clarity to these two important topics, cybersecurity and from Mr. Sinclair, data protection. Now, we want to run through these this afternoon quickly. We want to define cybersecurity. We want to state the importance of cybersecurity, explain how cybersecurity works, speak on some threats that might occur in the world of cybersecurity, expound on some myths, state key cybersecurity technologies and best practices, and of course, list some cybersecurity tips. Now, cybersecurity is a discipline that covers how to defend devices and services from electronic attacks by nefarious actors like hackers, spammers, and cyber criminals. But what really is the focus of cybersecurity? We want to defend computers, defend smartphones, defend networks, defend databases. So the definition for cybersecurity really is the process of protecting against every form of cybercrime, from identity theft to international digital weapons. But why is it important? In today's world, you cannot ignore cybersecurity, because once you breach any area, be it in a bank, or from as big as a bank to as small as your phone, which holds millions of personal information, that can be trouble. And so cybersecurity is very important and essential to protect businesses and individuals, again, from spammers and cyber criminals. How does it work? Now there's a plethora of cybersecurity measures and how it actually works. I'm going to break it down into a few subdomains. We'll speak about application security, cloud security, identity management, mobile security, network security, user recovery, and disaster recovery, and user education. Now, application security. Once your device has a software and you can use it as a user, it becomes an application. On our cell phones, we call it app, right? It's important that we find and implement ways to defend against software that can cause harm to your devices. And so we beg of you to always use authorized access codes, passwords, and encryption. First thing, once you get a new device or any device, encrypt and/or really put a password. Later on I'll explain the mix of password. There's also cloud security. When we think about cloud, we think about the most popular saving arena. We used to floppy disk and a hard drive and flash drive and CDs back in our day. But now the cloud is becoming very prevalent in terms of saving our information. It's important that we use our cloud storage securely. Cloud storage meaning Google Drive, OneDrive, iCloud, Azure, Rackspace. Now I mentioned about password, but password sometimes not the best thing or not the safest or the most safe. So it is important that we do multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. What is that? So you're going to log into your device. But sometimes, in order to ensure greater security, we want to have another device to ensure that allow you to log in and gain access. So we call it multi-factor or two-factor authentication. Right? So yes, identity management and data security, it really comes down to using another device for multi-factor or two-factor authentication, which ensures that there is storage and there is also good management and good best ability to ensure that you log in safely. Next. Now, mobile security is a big deal today. Everybody has a mobile device. Everybody has at least one device. Lots of persons have I don't know how people do it, walk around with 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 phones, and tablet, and laptop, and smart watches, and smart fridge, and things like that, and smart car talking to you. It's important that whatever mobile device you have, there is security. If you lose that, then some of our lives are over. Am I right, young people? Yes. And so when we talk about multi-factor authentication, most times if you're going to log into your laptop, what do you use as multi-factor authentication? Your mobile device. Use a mobile device for phone recognition to log in. It's important that that smartphone or that mobile device is also secure. And we secure most things on a network. Everything is done over the internet nowadays. And so we find that hackers take advantage of our network. And so it's important that wherever you go and log into a network, there is firewall. And firewall is a protective measure against hackers on a network. Now, not all threats are human-based. What I spoke about just a while ago were all human-based threats. You know, hackers and cyber criminals would have caused harm using all the things I spoke about. But sometimes life happens through a fire, or a hurricane, or a flood. It's important that businesses and you as the layperson, you secure your devices and secure all of your materials as best you can from natural disasters. How do we do that? Waterproof cabinet, fireproof cabinet. And again, you might be wondering, why would I want a waterproof cabinet? You have your, and when I say cabinet, I don't mean like a wall safe. Just something to protect it against fire or water. So your passport, your birth certificate, you can probably wrap it up in a plastic in case there's flood, God forbid. So those things are important. Now in terms of business continuity, they must have an alternative measure to saving information. So you find that Scotiabank would have an off-site place that would store all or some of the information. Alright? And most importantly, you the user. Moments like these are important. So that those of us who know will learn. Those of us who do know will be reminded of the best practices and the policies used to monitor and report suspicious activities. Having programs, as was mentioned, some of us were a part of Introduction to Cybersecurity training, where some of us, I have a first degree in IT, and some terms I did not know. Then again, to be fair, my first degree was 20 years ago, and cybersecurity just took over the place within the number of years. So I was able to learn some things and be reminded of some things, to be able to speak to my generation and the future generation of the importance and the warnings of cybersecurity. Now, what are some threats? Cybersecurity comes with, first and foremost, cyber terrorism. Now, you think of terrorism, you think about Afghanistan and the Middle East. No, it can happen in your backyard. It can happen on your phone. You know, it's a threat that is used as a political attack or a politically based attack on computers and information technology to cause harm and create widespread social disruption. Malware. Now, a virus is a program used to replicate other files that can cause harm. Viruses come in many ways. One of the first ways are malware. And a malware is a threat that can be used to, when you install it, become harmful, block access to computer resources, disrupt the system, and covertly transmit information from your data storage. Trojan. Now, like the legendary Trojan horse mythology, this attack tricks users into thinking they're opening a harmless file. Instead, once the Trojan is in place, it attacks the system, typically establishing a backdoor that allows access to cyber criminals. There was once a famous virus called I Love You. And you see a file called I love you, want to open it. When you open it, it becomes that Trojan that we don't want to happen on our devices. Botnets. Now, a group of interconnected devices that are affected or infected with malware and controlled by a single attacker comes about using botnets, and also called a bot herder. So it's really over the internet, hence the word net, but the bot part now is the infection. And really you feel that your computer gets out of control, it's really being controlled by one single attacker. So about malware, which is really a single file. Adware now is when it's a form of malware, but this time you open advertisement supported software. So you see some on a website, and you see some things flashing. Lucky winner. Or let me get even more crude. This girl is in your area. You see this, right? Click on it, no girl not in your area. It's going to be an unwanted software generated online ads, and it keeps on popping up and popping up and popping up. One thing that is always, alright, so this is wrong, but admittedly, who downloads YouTube the illegal way? Don't answer me, alright. So when you do that, you go online and you type in convert YouTube to MP3, you highlight the URL, you copy it in the Google thing there, you download, and all of a sudden, ads just keep on popping up and popping up. It's important that you, over time, quickly clear your history and clear your cache, C-A-C-H-E. Because if you don't do that, over time, you're going to be bombarded with more and more of these, and then suddenly you have a virus through adware. Phishing, the PH one. Now, phishing is an impersonation of a legitimate entity, like a bank, and it tricks you into revealing personal information or clicking on malicious links. So sometimes you see an NCB email logo looks very real, but that's why NCB always says, you will never get an email, or you will never get a phone call, or you will never. That's important, because the Scotiabank emails look real. The JMB emails look real. You're going to want to click on it. Right? The other day I saw an email that your account has been hacked. Of course my account hacked me stressed out. Good. But I remember, no, it was hacked, I would have gotten a call. Right? So it's important that you realize that phishing is a fake communication really to steal information or install malware. I learned this in my course, man-in-the-middle attack. Now, an attacker, man-in-the-middle attack, MITM, attackers intercept communication between two parties, pretending to be one of them, allowing them to eavesdrop, modulate, and steal data. So there's somebody in the middle between you and the entity. That comes about because of malware that I spoke about before. Denial of service, or DOS. Now, sometimes what hackers do is they log in or they bombard websites, flood the websites, or they call it HTTP flood. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. In order for you to get onto a website, it must be HTTP. A legitimate website must have HTTP before it. Now, what hackers do is they flood the website, flood and flood until it becomes overwhelming to the point where you cannot access the website anymore, and they take over the website. So when you get to log into the website now, you get that particular virus, right? All these things are happening in our world. And believe it or not, there are some myths. Because cyber attacks are growing, it is real. And because of that, we must be au fait and know what cybersecurity is not, can do, and cannot do. First, passwords alone are enough. Some people believe that. But what can hackers do but hack password? It's pretty easy. There's software to hack password. So while strong passwords are essential, cyber criminals can still find a way to hack them. That is why it's always important to have multi-factor authentication. Right, so they always tell you what should never be a password. Your name should never be a password. Your date of birth should never be a password. Your middle name should be a password. Turn your name backwards should not be a password. Right? There's always, what I like about websites and databases nowadays, they insist that you check off a particular list. There must be a capital letter. There must be a common letter. There must be a number. There must be a symbol. It must not be less than 8 characters. Things like that. It's important. And then you do multi-factor authentication. You don't want to wake up one day and see all the funds gone. Alright? Another myth. Deleting files removes them permanently. Nope. No. You know, I was watching Law and Order the other day. One of them, SB, one of those things. And the criminal thought that having deleted the file, that was it. But you learn now, and it was real, even though Law and Order is fiction, the aspects, some aspects are real. The reality is, any IT person can take that discarded hard drive and still gain access. And this can be done by anybody, really. So you think you delete it and it goes in the recycle bin? No. It is still somewhere in the hard drive. You can still find the data. Encryption is unnecessary. What's encryption? Scrambling or coding data. It's important because when you have data that is encrypted, only the person with the key can unscramble or decrypt. And the key is really the steps used to unscramble. Small and medium-sized businesses are not targeted, or small people are not targeted. Fake, wrong. Everybody is targeted. Once you have anything, you can be targeted. People hack for fun. And hacking for fun starts at the bottom with the layman. But here are some cybersecurity technologies and best practices. VPN. Who knows what a VPN is? Right. It's a protocol that it basically tells you, or it can change the location you are, or detect a location. Let us say, for example, I want to open a software and it's only available in America. If I have a VPN, I can change my location to where it is and I can gain access. Right? So use VPNs to privatize your connections. Before clicking on a link, check the link. Before clicking on a link, check the link. One of the first things I always do is check for HTTPS, the protocol. Do not be lethargic with your password. Use strong passwords. Don't be lazy. Why me can't bother? No. Sit down and be intentional in building passwords. And again, not your first name and last name and middle name together. People, everything is on the internet now. I can get your birth certificate on the internet and see all the names. Right. Scan external devices for viruses. Important. Ensure your devices have antivirus software. Store sensitive data in a secure place. Be in the cloud. Clouds actually are secure, right? Especially like Google, very secure. iCloud, OneDrive, very secure. Because, especially, for example, let me use the school. My MBCC comes through Google. Security. Plus, lots of money is being spent, right? And because of that, I moved to ensuring and insisting that you enable two-factor authentication. It can be a bother, but it will pay off in the long run. Again, double check for HTTPS. Remove adware by clearing the cache and installing a firewall. Most times, when you buy especially Windows, it comes with Windows Defender that has its own firewall. Here's one thing that I want to insist on. If you're not using Bluetooth, turn it off. If you're not using it, turn it off. Because data can be transmitted. As a matter of fact, in this research, I also learned that if you are not using your Wi-Fi, turn it off. Because let us say, you keep your Wi-Fi on, you're traveling, because when you go home, you can't bother to turn on the Wi-Fi on your phone. But when you move to different locations, you can gain access to open Wi-Fi. And open Wi-Fi is the best place for hackers to hack into your device. That is why if you go to a public cafe, be careful of what you use at public cafes. Again, avoid public networks. And finally, thank you, sir. Here are some cyber safety tips. Keep your software up to date. And when I say software, I mean antivirus software, right? Avoid opening suspicious emails. How do I know that? You can tell. You can tell. And if there's a thought that runs through your mind that it is suspicious, don't open it. Use antivirus and anti-malware software, and again, with Windows most times, it comes with it. Use a security file sharing solution for encryption. Use strong passwords again. Back up your data. Be cautious of phishing scams. Use password managers. Use two-factor authentication. And do not reuse password, as some people say. But it's hard to find a new password. But again, it will pay off in the long run. I know that NCB, every month, you have to re-enter your password. And some databases allow you to have to change the password over a period of time. It's important. As I conclude, cybersecurity is essential for everybody, from an individual to a business to the nation, right? And so I applaud the drive of Mr. Phillips and his team to have a forum like this and to record it and to have it on YouTube for days and years to come so we can rewatch it and relearn and remember how important it is, because once we start here and move and you tell somebody, then eventually we'll all understand the importance of cybersecurity, the need to have security in our devices, protect sensitive data, systems and infrastructure, and ensure that you're intentional in learning some more, educating yourself some more, open your minds to the technology, because the world is moving, is in the world of technology. We are in the world of technology. So don't try to run away from it. Ensure that you move with the time, because it is here. Thank you so much.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that his presentation was quite insightful. Yes, he has taught us many things, and I hope that we keep the information at the forefront of our minds. We need to be aware of the different cyber threats that exist and what we need to do to protect ourselves, right? At this time, we're going to pause for a musical interlude. Is Ariana Dixon here, year 2 student for ACT. She'll be coming to perform for us.
Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? And why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home? I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me.
Thank you. And I want to say something to all of us that it's not God alone watching us. There are others who are watching us. They want our data, right? And that is why we have to be vigilant. We have to be careful because the intentions are not good, right? So we have to ensure that we are aware of the dangers that are around us and so that we can safeguard ourselves. Am I correct? Thanks again for that lovely rendition, Miss Dixon. Now to continue our discussion, I'm delighted to introduce our second presenter, Mr. Lish Sinclair. Mr. Sinclair, lecturer at the Montego Bay Community College, is also a father, husband, brother, son, coach, mentor, advisor, MC, recording artist. So many of us knew this about Mr. Sinclair. He holds a degree in law from University of West Indies, Cave Hill, pursuing a postgraduate degree in teaching and training, specializing in IT. He is now awaiting acceptance to UWI Master's Program in Law. He had majored in English at UWI Mona before transferring to law faculty. He served on the Students' Guild government as chairman in Barbados. He went to Haiti on outreach mission led by a group that he co-founded at the UWI. He was a Harvard Model UN diplomat. He is student-centered and education-centered. He has been an election day officer and PEP exam invigilator, He's a proud graduate of Cornwall College, Cornwall, yes, CC, and he's also a former teacher at that institution. He hopes to embark on pioneering research and authoring, and is always willing to share information and encourages the deepening and the widening of the self. Please put your hands together and may welcome Mr. Lish Sinclair.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Sinclair. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. But before Mr. Sinclair comes forward, I invite Mr. Russell back to the stage as we make a little presentation to you for the wealth of knowledge that you just imparted. We want to say congratulations and thank you so much. You have piqued our interest in protecting our data. Most of us don't have a clue. And you opened our eyes and understanding to so much. And so we hope to take what you shared and apply it to what we aim to do as followers of this Data Protection Act. Thank you so much. And now over to Mr. Sinclair.
Thank you. Absolutely wonderful welcome, I must say. I hope you ignored everything that was said, except one thing. I've interacted with so much data, I had to get here some way or another. All right? So, Moderator Shaw, Vice Principal of academic, Dr. Madden, Vice Principal, Second Vice Principal, Mr. Evans, I see her here now. Executive Admin, Mr. Charles Ramsey, Dean, Mr. Warren, from Recruitment, Admissions and Outreach, our Coordinator and Director of Curriculum Development and Coordinator of this event, Mr. Phillips, along with Ms. Johnson and the duly hardworking team. Guest lecturer who just had to leave us, Mr. Russell, quite an astute speaker and controller of this floor. Deans, Associate Deans, HODs, lecturers, senior lecturers, facilitators, students, digital team, planning teams, staff, Ventura, digital services, visitors, guests, well-wishers, data drivers, all. This is Liz Sinclair saying, welcome. So we have the discussion to embark on now. I'm going to just let you know right now, you will not be seeing a single page of the Data Protection Act. Sorry to let you down, law students. It's only for us. The black and white of legislation is often very hard to digest, to discern, and to discuss. So that's why I was very happy when I was given an opportunity to discuss with you safeguarding privacy in this age, but looking specifically at the laws our country have installed. The other thing you should know, it is very new. The Data Protection Act, which we're going to call the DPA, was actually fully combined in 2020. Some parts of it took life, took activity in 2021, and in 2023, it was fully intact. Now it's strange that many of us don't even know what that is. We don't know, and I won't even punish you. We can all raise our hands together. Just let's check around the room. If you know what the DPA is, keep your hands down. Keep them down if you know what the DPA is. Thank you, Mr. Warren, Mr. Bent, young lady with the expensive glasses. Oh, a sea of hands. No, that's fair because it's new. But how would you feel if I told you it's already here? And we're already under the law. It could very well mean that somebody has a shop and they're still selling butterfly knives, 3-star ratchets, you know what I mean, and the Cubans. But the Offensive Weapons Act has been passed for years. Can they escape the penalties of the law? No, they can't. The other reason we won't be showing you this legislation is because it's 123 pages. Don't leave. Don't grieve. That is what I did. I had the joy and the privilege of processing the data because as the introduction told you, it looked like love in a school. We're just there, don't it? From the cradle to the library. But I'm going to show you how it helped me make sense of where our campus is and where every single person in this room lies. You have a cellular phone with you right now. You also have an ID on you. And you have had a picture taken of you in the last month. Is that fair to say, everyone? Just give me a yes for the recording. Yes. Thank you. Did you authorize all those pictures? So if I went to a certain hub called Corn Hub, where they show all the corn in the field that you can think of, dirty corn, clean corn, big corn, small corn, unpaid corn, and paid corn, Corn Hub, and you saw your face there as a thumbnail, how would you feel? Unprotected, right? Violate. Oh, that's a wonderful law word. Hey, watch it not use. My job. Alright, so we will be getting into that discussion about the dangers of not having your data protected and the dangers of the institutions and organizations that have your data. For some of us who may have been suspended before, can you imagine what that report says? Told teacher to go and ... That's data, you know? Now, let me ask you. How far would you like that data to follow you? Would you like when you're running for election, your rival just comes with an advertisement that says, do you know that your so-called opposition leader has no manners at all? And then cue the video. Tell her to go to and then, is this the man you want to vote for? It becomes very, very, very tense. And you've seen it many times played out in the media. A character assassination. Well, what if I told you that sometimes that data should have been protected, concealed, and never revealed? We're hoping that they unseal the Martin Luther King documents though. That's the data that should not be protected. We continue. I'm going to introduce you to the DPA. You notice it's only 4 things, right? So I understand the difficulty with learning the language of the law when you have not been doing so for decades. So let's walk through. We're going to look at the key terms in the Act. I'll be taking out section by section. All 123 pages are broken down into sections, and we're going to show you what applies to you, every single face, ears, eyes, mouth, and clothing, costumes, human beings in here. We're going to talk about the institution, and we're going to talk about somebody that the institution has given the job to supervise and protect all of it. So when you're finished, a lot of you are going to go to the websites that you have been on before, even the school's website, to check what's there for you. Just yesterday, I spoke to a student who said to me that she was in her cheerleading outfit doing a split, and she found that image today in class online. We won't name the site, but there's only one site that can display, document, and proudly boast that the N crowns the work and we are a college of the future. So this is why we have to understand number 3, the rights of data subjects. Because she told me in confidence, told, that she didn't know it was there. So what does that say about the DPA? Now this is not to get our institution in any hot water. I'll show you by the end of this that number 4, segue, the obligations for the organizations are being met. So we have a grace period, and this is why this period invites us to speak to you and to the college. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I do want to show you a picture though, over there. Do you notice there are 2 faces on that document? That document was sent to me early February, and I was asked, is this picture okay? I said no, because the picture that was there, work with me sir, was this. Yo. So the image they caught was a shot of me, ready to be a recording artist, as Moderator Shaw explained. I didn't find it to be appropriate, right, Ms. Cockham? Because what I was about to say on the microphone also would not tie into data protection. I'm not going to say no. So I had to send her a picture. You notice I went for a picture, something that's spiffy, Garfield O'Brien designs and whatnot, you see up here, so like a fashion week. But right, I did not know where they found the picture. Mrs. Ricketts Evans, I had no clue it was even online. It was in black and white, almost like a criminal photo. So I had to say to her, no, we can't use that one. But it was not the institution's fault. She just went to Google and typed, greatest picture of Litz Sinclair. And I guess that's all they could find. It was Shrimp Fest 2012, or it escapes me. It's all right. There are no recordings, thanks to the Data Protection Act. Right. So I wanted to show that to you, that something as simple as advertising a public lecture with an image of someone that is disparaging, that they did not give consent to, may put the school or the organization in problems. So when I said earlier that we at the MBCC take pride and we have integrity when it comes to legislation and making it work seamlessly in our learning environment, that's what I meant. Because the PRO and her marketing team consulted me and sought my C word. Love it, love it. We're already doing this together. Now, this is the only thing I expect you to remember today, because remember, you don't speak legalese, so if you want to take a picture right now, you can do that. You can grab your cell phones and because you're going to tell somebody about it, but this might be the only thing you remember, and that's not a problem. Your data is still safe with the college. Now, it says the DPA was passed in 2020, it became effective in 2023. These regulations do the following. Guys, the lawful handling of our personal data and protecting that information to safeguard the rights and privacy of all individuals here. And this is whether or not you finish paying the school. I don't want anybody to start fretting now because you still have a little on the account. You're thinking, oh gee, guarantor now, are they going to put me on that embarrassing list when you go over to the cinema, right? And you have to run out of the movies when you see your face come up. Aye. I won't even tell you which one of our prime ministers was on the SLB delinquent list. The data is protected. Find it online. So question now. I just want one person to look at me and answer. Is this public lecture flyer legal? Is it safe under the law? Yeah? Because we could say that both lecturers, both speakers, gave consent to be used. What if they had put Valiant in the corner? Do you know how many students would have turned up? And no Valiant, you know what they would have done, right? It would not have been fun. And he would also be able to punish us because we would have not protected his data, or would have handled it illegally because he would have used his image, his intellectual property, to promote an event. So if you've been to an event before and you did not see a certain Blizzard cartel, chances are he may still have been paid because we bought the ticket thinking Blizzard cartel was going to be there. Anybody went to see Messi play? Wow, it's not me, I don't feel so bad anymore. The same thing again. You know, many Jamaicans didn't know if Messi was going to be at the match, so they were afraid to buy the tickets. That's why many Montagonians never went, because we will not take kindly to that 8-hour drive to somewhere else in Jamaica. If you know Mobe, you know. Anywhere outside of Mobe is a long drive. You're paying for it. So Messi's image was used to get all of Jamaica to the National Stadium. But based on the Data Protection Act, Lionel Messi has a contract with a club named Inter Miami. And when he signs that contract, in it says your image, your likeness, and all of your number 10 money-making jerseys will be used for marketing. That is why he's so wealthy, because he's paid for his data. So very quickly, I want you to help me with that dilemma poll. I was going to use Slido, but we don't need to use Slido. I'll just show it to you that it's a device or a technological software that you can use safely to get the polls and the feedback of your people. So if you're watching in La La Land, join us at Slido. But for those of us here right now, let's just do it together with a show of hands. I just want you to raise your hands to answer this poll. Which of these actions do you think, based on what we said, violates Jamaica's Data Protection Act? A, just raise your hand if you think it's a violation. A, sharing someone's medical records without their consent. Okay, nice. How about B, posting a friend's birthday on social media? Think again. Yeah? I will answer all of them, I will. We want to engage in discussion. You get it? It's not my data, your data. Alright? C, a company selling customer emails. Do I have to go any further to third parties? I'm putting up my hand because remember Shrimp Fest? Right. And D, using security cameras in a public park like Harmony Beach. Right, I am seeing the firing off, and let's talk. A and C completely violate the DPA, and we'll say why. Sharing someone's medical records without consent is exactly what a data controller should not do. That's a penalty, and it's in the millions. Let's make sure we get that clear. We're not talking no 30 grand, no, we're not talking no 1 month salary, we're talking millions. And if it's a repeated thing, that number will multiply per offense. So that's why I said it's no joking matter, and in order to bring us into conformity, they're not going to lock us up, they're going to charge us for everything we have. You have to be careful, very careful, because it's going to be our economic value that goes down, and the reputation of the best community college this planet has yet to put out. Zoom in on my face. Serious. Alright, so we agree on that. B and D may be violations, but when you look at the context, it usually isn't. Let's explain. When you post a friend's birthday on social media, think about it. People publicize birthdays. Your birthday is usually a public thing. If you are a private person and you're a hermit, you wouldn't have been walking around giving everybody your date of birth. So that kind of data is seen as something you may have volunteered before. So it's not a surprise. You get what I mean? It won't be, oh, I didn't know she was born. For example, that's why it says depending on context. Now here's how the context changes. What if your friend is a celebrity? You were invited to their house. They took you into the special areas with their swimming pool with diamonds in it, and you start to take a picture at Sinclair's yard, in Sinclair's fridge, in drink Lasco. Now you realize you're getting beyond protected data. Because if you head to Wikipedia now, for almost every one of us that's somebody, not yet, you will see a date of birth. And if you don't want it there, you can tell them, I don't consent. So I just want you to understand, it's not that your birthday will never be known. Remember, you have a date of birth. Remember that some of the sites that you join, in fact, almost all of them today require biometric data. So they say as well, you consent to us having it. Remember, you never consent to them giving it away, because that's a company and they're not your friend. But if you're my friend, I want presents, Ms. Shaw. So tell everybody on staff, December 15, when you're collecting the exam papers, collect a little thing for Sinclair, alright? I am advertising mine. Let's try something else. 2 truths and a lie. I'm going to tell you them, and you just help me figure out what's true and what's a lie. It's not really an icebreaker because, you know, Mr. Russell, in kick with all of the ice, there's puddles up here now. So we're just splashing at the puddles. Try this now. Under Jamaica's DPA, individuals can request copies of their personal data held by organizations. Is that true? Alright, you're sounding good, you're sounding good. The DPA applies only to government agencies and not private companies. Like what a false sound, that sounds like a parliament false. Take him down! That is sounding good. And finally, fines for DPA violations can reach millions of Jamaican dollars. True. I could end here because you guys have already gotten the gist of it. You realize that it protects our data, it safeguards our data, and it's actually ours to control, but somebody has to keep it in a place for us. Kind of like the passwords in the cloud server that Mr. Russell had spoken of, alright? And since you did so well, so remarkably well, and you are at home as well, here is your gift. The gift to you, everybody, is a way to protect yourself. So, if you've been taking any pictures before, I bet you're going to take one now. You see that site at the top? It says, have I been owned? But it's with a P. If you don't know what P-W-N-E-D means, I am begging you, take a picture now. Because the young men and women in the room, they know. You don't know what it means? Take a picture. That's kind of like the song that said soldering from the older days. I always thought it was about electrical engineering, Miss Lecky. But you realize because I was youthful, I was innocently conned. Spoiler alert, guys, do not Google that song. Take a picture. Here's why. Because many of us in this room don't even know what it means to be owned with a smiley face. You get it now? Yeah. Those who know shows like Death Note, you get me now, and Hot Dot Slash, they will understand because the generation that came after us, as we said, those who ride the digital wave at the front, you know, we are in the boat. Don't pretend, guys. We are in the tugboat going, oh, AI, let me see it. Right, they're riding the wave. It says, have I been owned.com. But change the O to a P. It allows you to check your email address and your phone numbers against known breaches. So you see, because most of us companies, we use our first and last names. J Bond is mine, for example. Or when I'm overseas, I use D Washington at mbcc.edu.jm. You get what I'm saying? But the mere fact that I use that, it's already telling you something. You probably can find out a lot about me by my email address. Check that website when we're through and you'll realize why data protection is so important. And if you're popular, if you have a master's, if you've been published, if you speak in the church, you speak in the school, you work at the library, you work for the government, you need to go and look. There are 2 Lichtafari Sinclairs at the Tax Administration Office of Jamaica. The other guy loves to stab people. I'm not making it up. If you don't Google me, I beg you. I have to tell them, sir, the other Sinclair is known for stabbing offenses. And there's another one, legitimate. Yes, the bald head guy. Clearly not me. I wouldn't have time. You see my head shine? It's like Dapper Dan's son. But why I'm saying this is, when you search for my name, you may find his data. You choose not to give me a job at the knife factory because you're here, I'm a stabby man. You choose not to give me a job in a victim's shelter unit because you're here, I'm aggressive. That's not me. So you need to check it out. I check mine and trust me, it's not funny. I asked the police and I asked tax administration what to do if that man is not wanted and I am found. They said, and I quote, you better have your passport with you. And as Mr. Russell taught us, I don't walk with my passport. So, Dr. Madden, you could drive, come over there, right? Thank you very much. The others are pretty good. Firefox Monitor, it does the same thing, but it does it through Firefox. Identity Theft Checker, it is USA focused, but it's useful for assessing risks. You know, we have some persons in the world who love to call the United States of America and tell them lies. That would help those persons. So if you have loved ones sending remittance, and they're quite worried about using the internet to send you any money, tell them to hush, check out identity theft, and then they can proceed. Because there are safe sites like Zoom and PayPal and lsinclair.com. ODPA Jamaican Resources, you can visit the Commissioner's Office of Data Protection and you can get more information than what I'm going to give you here, but that is for the organization or the avid reader. I'll give you enough to take you home safely. Alright, and finally, this ties into Mr. Russell's report. What to do if you're a victim of malware, adware, MITM, all of those. You can visit Jamaica Cyber Incident Reporting Tool, cirt.gov.jm, and let them know that someone is using your face to promote public lectures and you can't even speak. It's an example, it's not sir. Alright? Have you gotten your image? Please don't be ashamed. We always learn something when we don't know it. That's how learning goes. I want you to use it because you might go home now and as Mr. Russell said, you get an email from me. Hi, I enjoyed our conversation. Want to talk more? You go click on it. That's not me. I don't need to talk like that. You're going to end up giving somebody all the information in your inbox. And I know sometimes we scan our passports and we send it to our email. That's all I need. I want to call and say, hey, I lost some information. I lost access to my account. They're going to go, well, we need to do a full verification. I go, well, I'm traveling on a train. Let me tell you what I have on me. You see that? I'm on a train. This is what I have on me. You have your passport? Yes, I do. I'm going to just open the people and passport information and start reading. You see that? Yeah. And I've tested these sites, and I tell you, they're good, very, very good. So here we go. Introduction now. We've done it, but we're just going to do it in a very two-sentence way. According to the Jamaica Information Service, your personal data is seen as the following. Any information, what does it? That can be used to identify you. And I'm going to give you a list. It is not exhaustive, but let me tell you, if you look like Dennis Rodman, anything that can be used to describe you. If you look like LeBron, if you have a particular facial structure, if you're known for having no teeth, this is actually something that can identify you. And those are just very unique markers. Alright, here we go. So here are some examples of your data, which you all have. And as I go through it, do us a favor. Ask yourself, who knows this about me? And you'll realize how many places actually has access to this. Your race, your gender, your photos, or your facial image. The fact that we all have an ID tells us we know one place that has it right now. You have a birth certificate, well, you know some of the other data is there. You have a passport, you have a voter's ID, driver's license. I can keep going. Then your fingerprints, your footprints, the scan of your retina, which can identify you, your blood type. I want to make a special mention to our health fair, taken on today by the nurse and the indomitably strong team from Student Services. If you missed it, see us next year on campus, but we actually tackled the health section of it too. Your blood type and the importance of knowing it. Can you imagine they know your blood type and you don't? That was many of us just a while ago. So this is a plea to the listeners at home as well. If you do not know your blood type, it is in your best interest to know for yourself, your loved ones, and your family members. Alright, thank you. Your height, your eye color, your actual signature, your voice recognition. A lot of us using this now. Hi Siri, hey Google. I bet somebody's phone just opened. That's what they need. The actual device has learned your voice. And if you visited AI, the AI only needs you to read a paragraph. And from that paragraph, it can manufacture any sentence it wants you to say. So, many persons know that already. I just want to tell you the validation here. Physical and mental health condition. Oh geez, I won't even go on that. I won't even go to that one. Because even now, we are in the midst of persons who still need that to be protected from us. You get what we mean? There are some things that only some offices should have access to. Can you imagine if everybody here knew that every time it rains, I fall to pieces? If you're too young, you're not gonna get it. You see the difference now? Alright, talking to my bigger ladies in the, in the big life. You get it? Can't make them know. Right. The young kids will say that their head hot, their head chip, their head feel like a kettle. Can I get another one? That's it? Anything more profound? Stress out. Stress out. Alright, continuing. Your membership in social clubs, Key Club, Kiwani, Rotaract, you name it. Librarians of Jamaica, Bursars of Jamaica, the association, right? And it goes on. Jamaica Teachers Association, how could I forget? Political opinions, religious beliefs, criminal records, and it actually goes on. Because as more data becomes available for us, the more danger we are in. Now let me ask you, haven't you heard enough up there to make you ask, wait, there's so much of me out there? The truth is, I've asked AI before to write a statement based on what it knows about me. I gave it a very, very, very unique prompt to tell it to self-assess me. Yes, look into me. From what I've typed, tell me what my weaknesses are. Provide suggestions. And I tell you, the results were horrifyingly accurate. Yes. It simply learned my language model and developed traits from what I would ask it and how I would speak to it and how I would test it. And it told me, it said, I need to give myself more credit. I don't know how AI don't know me modest. How can an AI tell me that? Well, I hope I piqued your interest in your data protection, because that artificial intelligence could pretend to be me and fabricate and fashion a story on my behalf. So why does this matter? Why does it matter, sir? Since it's already out there, why should I care? I'm already online, right? Wrong. It says it's now more accessible than before. So that's why when you left Hilo yesterday and you bought a certain drink, by the time you went home, you know what happened. That drink was now added to your list of things that should be marketed to you because it has crossed your path and you consider it data marketing. So they use your data, whether it's protected or not, and they end up telling you, you want this. Now maybe you do, but what you begin to forget is, with that in place, as Neil deGrasse Tyson, the genius scientist, said, when AI starts to predict what I want, I do not have the dynamism of being a new customer anymore. Let me find out about Nair, since we're not true. Let me find out about Nair gel, right guys? I don't want to be speaking to somebody and go, no, I don't use scissors. And then Google says, Nair for short shorts. You know that I don't. Who likes short shorts? And this is not an advertisement for Nair in any way. I do not have any permission to market their data. And I said that for a reason. I'm going to show you why. Personal data can now be transmitted with a simple swipe, a simple click, a simple tap. And for some people, they can just look. The facial recognition devices, all right, I've heard some young ladies saying that, wait till he's asleep. Gentlemen, make sure you sleep well. Or you put shoes polish on your face when you're on your bed, Otherwise, you're not going to escape that data exposure. You just wake up and see a hammer, and then you see a bright light. You don't have no phone again, Welcome, my son. Any such information must be handled with absolute care and confidentiality, because if she catch it, man. Let's go to the key terms that you may never have seen without going to this document, because they're buried in the DPA. What legislations and laws do is they try to be exhaustive, meaning it tries to tell you everything that Parliament wants. You don't have time for that. You just want to know how much you flour today. Can't blame you. But the 123 pages is to make sure that they don't leave anything out. That's where we come in now, the synthesizers of this voluminous matter. Let's talk. It says your personal data is any information that can ID you. And we went through that. That big list that scares even me. Sensitive data now would be those that you honestly wouldn't want every individual on the planet having. My birthday is okay because I might be gifted. My birthday is okay because it validates I am who I am. But what about your race, your health, your religion, and most importantly, your criminal history? You know that some jobs will not hire you if your criminal record has particular crimes. Two quick examples. There was a young man who, in grade 7 at Cornwall, stole 1 foot of shoe. Not the pair, 1 foot. Big up Cornwall. And he migrated later on, and he eventually ascended to the ranks of a Bank of America branch manager. And you know, for those positions, integrity is everything. Just like when you're hiring a judge. So they did a scan of his life. Now, because of the data, and it was protected at Cornwall College, they were able to delve so far back into his grade 7 history that they considered him too young, a crook, to put that much money and that much responsibility in his hands. And if there's anybody from Cornwall, you probably have been told the story as well. It followed him that far. Justice Kavanaugh, simply put, one of America's Supreme Court justices, almost never got into his seat because he was rumored to have R-worded a young lady at a college party when he was in his 19s, 18s, and he was known as a rumhead. Imagine that. So that's why data has to be monitored and managed, both our reputations and our representations. And finally, to our young men, the Dangerous Drugs Act, which is in effect in Jamaica, has decriminalized ganja, not legalized. Listen carefully. It is no longer a criminal penalty. But before, it would add to your criminal history. Can you imagine wanting to get a job, gainful employment, and when they run that file, see there, you've been arrested and charged in the state for possession of illegal substances. Right away, we're going to think anything we want. But I am pretty sure most interviewers look to the next application. So you see, data protection is important because maybe you were expunged, maybe you were exonerated. And by the way, all of those persons who would have been charged before the changing of the law, they can apply for expungement to clear their names. So it's actually something that they should do, fix the data for them. Because otherwise, we might not hire a young Sinclair if that was something falsified for him. So think of that. I would never have had the opportunity to do this and do this with grace. So I'm not saying we should forgive every single offense, but the law has reduced the penalty. Give them a job. They've also found that if you don't hire them, they're going to contribute to the unemployed, unintelligentsia. So you make the choice. You want to meet them in the boardroom or the bus stop? Thank you. Continuing. The data controller now is the person or the organization that decides why and how your data is processed. So you figured it out. The illustrious Montego Bay Community College is your main data controller. And I'm speaking to students, staff, and everyone I said hello to in the introduction. That's why I made it so lengthy. Because we are all in this together. So even if you don't think you have the highest crown, or you don't think anybody knows you, trust me, there is somebody who will gladly know you and use your name to buy things on Shein. A data subject would therefore be you and I. A named or otherwise individual who can be identified. Who is the subject of the personal data? That's you, me, your mother, your friend, you know, the talented videographer, the staff, Miss Annette's delectable cooking staff. You know what the food is delectable, not the people, sorry. Or, you know, or well-spoken moderator, you're a data subject. Now I don't mean to typify you, but I want you to understand the value of this. Every data subject in here has data that should be protected. So don't take it for granted. If you search your name now in the ComC database, you'll be surprised how much comes up. You might not even have known that I can call your numbers if I need to. You know why? Because you gave them to us. You put it on iSIMS. So based on the DPA, I am able to access it legally. But what if I took your number and I gave it to this young man at the front because I think he's a good guy and he deserves to meet a bright girl with an A average? Is that fair based on the DPA? You should say no very loudly, but we'll fix that in editing, alright? That's a massive no. A massive no. But apparently that's how them do it at Jamaica. That's what they do. Well, let me just be clear. What you consider a street move or the chop, my G, that's a crime. Stop it right now. Stop going online and take people information and copy and give others because they didn't consent to it. If I had said to him, Mr. Baker, I'm going to ask her first if I can introduce you to her formally through a number. And he said, yes, sir, I understand. And then I asked her, and she said, sir, I wanted to know him. Great. That's the way it should work. You can't go, this is a flow number. Alright. One more example. When you work at the call center, ask anybody who you know. You see credit cards, we don't want them. We don't want to see them. People on the phone going, my credit card number is, you have to get one pen and start writing. It's when you're done, tear it up into a trillion pieces and swallow it and then spit it out and go flush it in the bathroom and then go downstairs and burn the entire cesspit. Why? Because I've seen young men and women on the phone. Hi Gladys, we can give you the best service ever. Hello, Gladys, please do. Give me a minute, Gladys. And somebody said, come with me. They carry it to our room and they say, is this your client? And you go, I don't know. And then they use the data. They pull up the data and they go, no, you work Thursday at 2 p.m. See your name there. Are you L. Sinclair? We go, yeah. We're going to play this call for you. Don't play it. We're going to play this call for you. And they play the call and they hear me going, yes, Gloria, 5, 7, 3, 2, 1. And then they say, so you know that her card has been hacked and compromised. And we start going, I never me. And one say, can you prove that you destroyed the information? I say, yes, I don't have it anymore. But there are persons who have been fired and fined and are still facing criminal penalty because they have taken those credit cards and they're giving them to their friends in the community and so them have leads. So I want to listen very carefully. I'm talking into the exceptionally clean quality fostered by Ventura. That is illegal. Don't be surprised. Ignorance of the law is no protection. And that's why the Montego Bay Community College is giving this lecture to everyone in our network and our shareholders therein. We want you to know and be empowered and protected. So delete it. Sometimes they will even take pictures and send to you. You gotta throw it away. You can't keep it because that is unprotected data. Alright? Great. So let's just pick it up now. You're probably wondering, if COMC is a data controller and I'm the data processor, or I'm the data subject, sorry, who saves it? Who is the person making sure that it doesn't just go out in the world? You guessed it, our data processor or our data protection officer. I was scanning the room to see if he had his pleasure. I'm not sure. If anybody does see him arrive, please indicate so we can have the room recognize him. It's not illegal to know who your DPO is, but we have one. So I'm letting you know that the Montego Bay Community College is okay with the DPA and we're getting better every single day. Alright? So rest assured guys, we're not putting you on any flyers without your permission. The Information Commissioner is the person on the governmental side. You notice it says the regulator enforcing the act. So when you're reading the law that says the commissioner may, they're talking about that person. And I'm just going to give you his name. His name is, her name, mommy, Celia Barclay. Alright? You may not remember that, but it's an empowering thought for the young ladies here. Consent. That is the yes or the no. You must make it clear and you must volunteer for us to use your data. Have you seen anybody today taking your pictures? Yes. You're probably saying, but I never consented. If you didn't, why didn't you go and tell them? Exactly. Because they would have believed consent was accepted by a public forum issued in a public school on a non-holiday. You get it? So you would have been at school, and also we have a marketing and a press team. So if they wanted to be very, very technical, they could wear a giant badge that says school press. But it's not necessary. However, if you are worried that you told somebody you're not a Jamaican and you think they're going to find you, you can go to the press member of our team at COMC and go, hi, please blur my face. Yes, because you did not give us clear voluntary consent. And if I don't do that, I would have committed a data breach. So, this is where I speak to you now, and this is going to be the language that would have gone over the heads of our citizens and our populace, but thankfully, we just cut it down to single sections and single words, and I'll show you now. But if you do need access to the legislation, all 123, we have it, you can have it, no problem. Alright? Section 6 gives the right to access personal data held by data controllers. So that's the first thing it's talking about, that there is a right to access your own information. Suppose it says you're married on COMC's system now and you didn't know that. Somebody from registry said, we don't have your marriage certificate. And you're like, me? Married to who? You know? And they say, well, that's what we see here. You have a right to request to see that information. Anybody ever asked for a transcript? That's usually the only kind of data, Mr. Cricket Evans, that we ask for. But sometimes we ought to ask for it all to check and see if I still live in Glenavon. You get what I mean? I missed many student loan letters when I was a young learner because they were sending it to an old address. If I had asked the university or the student loan bureau to tell me what my data was, I could have been more protected. I would have known, and therefore I wouldn't have been so worried when I returned to Jamaica and I heard I owed the government money. I was at school. I didn't even know what was going on, but my data was being shipped around offices as a delinquent young man. Suffice it to say that it's all gone, and if you run a credit bureau check on me now, which is again data I have allowed the society to know, they will see it, and you'll see he has cleared his loan with Student Loan Bureau. And fun fact, students, those loans follow you. Education loans is one of them that you cannot get rid of. So while Donald Trump could have said, sorry, my bad, big news, and he closed one company and he said, we're doing it bigly, we're doing it again, never seen before, best ever, we've got it right here. He just starts a new company and calls it Make America Great Again too. See what I did there? That's what companies can do. They can fail and start right over. Bankrupt, broke as dog. You and I, SLB, I can't pay. Deadbeat. SLB, my mother can't pay. Deadbeat, mama. And it goes on and on and on. So if you have a guarantor and you run away, the student loan will hunt your guarantor across this earth. And if the guarantor is married, oh gee, till death do us part, and richer and poorer, that encumbrance will be settled by somebody. And that is why Student Loan Bureau, high student loan, they've removed the requirements for a guarantor. Somebody let me in the chat. You see what's going on? It is too much risk. Some more students are saying, I don't do it because nobody don't want to guarantee me. I'm like 16. I wouldn't guarantee me either. I don't even know my own data to trust myself. Continuing. Section 9, we just talked on it. In order for them to process your data, explicit informed consent. Every form you filled out when you were entering the college, it was on it. It said it, please fill out accurately. And at the end, it asks you to sign. Whether it be your package, whether it be a renegotiation, whether it be the acceptance of a scholarship, think back. You had to actually give clear acceptance. Moving. Section 11 gives them the right to object to processing anything that causes harm. So suppose they're going to add something to my file that would actually harm the chances of my acceptance to a scholarship. I can object as long as that reason is valid. So I can go there and go, that girl is brighter than me, so you can't put some, make it an A+. That is falsifying data. But if you did not include term 1 and 2, that now is an issue for me, because in term 1 I was the best. So I would love for all the data to be used. I want to know, alright? And if I don't like it, and I don't think it is fair or safe, I should be able to object. That's why I said earlier, you could have told them in the auditorium, I don't want my face on it. Blur me out. Alright? Good. Section 12, the right to challenge any automated decision making. Automated is never a good word when you hear of technology, because what it's telling you is, you never gave me a chance. Okay? You ever walked into somewhere like the airport and it says, please note you're under CCTV? That's what automated decision making is. You can't do anything about it. You are being recorded. China is facing that now, where a lot of these steps to giving them a ticket is automated. The license plate, the face, the recognition is done in traffic, you get it at the same time. So much so, I don't mind if I'm getting in trouble for this, but what many persons are doing, and I advise you to experiment, is they get a dried leaf and they use some two-sided tape. They put it on the license plate, stick it on, just follow me. Then they use a string and tie it to the window wiper. So when they're driving by the police, if they make any transgressions or bad drives, because the automated data is going to catch them, the license plate is obscured by that leaf. But the law enforcement wouldn't think it was there intentionally, you realize? they would think, oh, what coincidence, a passing wind obscured the license plate. But when the police stop you now, you just turn on your wipers and the leaf comes up. Why would I know that? If I was willing to read 123 pages, you don't think I would have tried and find a way to dodge CCTV? Big up Ventura cameras. So, section 13 gives you the right to rectify the data which isn't true. And that's what I was talking about before. You used to call me Miss Liz Sinclair. Them almost graduated the girl. Almost never got through. True. It was when I saw the email I had to go to them and say, hey guys, this is not me. Them said, prove it. That means based on the Data Protection Act in Barbados, I was a beautiful young lady with a promising career. Imagine. Then I turn up wanting the degree. They clearly wouldn't give it to me. You see this face? Zoom out, please. Zoom out. And now, let's look at what the organization has to do. Alright? This is for you now, our esteemed members of administration and our staff. Check it out. Section 15 says, we must register our school with the commissioner. Now, it's going to be presumed that we've already done this because we have so much data processing over here, it would be impossible for us to continue if we hadn't been registered. And by virtue of being a government-based institution, we could. Next, it says, Section 16 and 17 requires registration. So if you're opening a company now, and you have workers, register your company with the commission, please. You will be fined if you don't. Because otherwise, nobody's working for you and you don't have a company. You just have to make money at the end of the month, and that's why the tax office will call your name. Section 18 to 20. What happens if you don't register? Then you're going to be penalized for that. It also says you need to appoint a DPO. Montego Bay Community College, we have a data protection officer. Alright? You'll be introduced to him, I think, in short order, but his job had started long ago. So let's welcome him invisibly, and that's usually how you know they're doing absolutely good work, because they don't need to be seen. Alright? And if they're seen, they'll be absolutely transparent. Talk about some of the standards very quickly. Now, these are 8 taken from the Commissioner's office. And I know it seems like a lot, but trust me, what's there is a million times longer. So let's just say very quickly. We have to be lawful, fair, and transparent when we are taking your data on the registration form. Let me give you some examples of lawful and fair. We should not ask you things that require you to break the law or actually incriminate yourself. It's not that kind of school. Purpose limitation means we should only ask for what we need. Can you imagine if you were applying for come see young miss and it asked you last 3 or no, you don't have 3, yeah. Last boyfriend, that kind of rude, I don't want you in trouble. Can you imagine that? Last boyfriend. And you're asking why. Oh, we have peer counselors over here, we want to know what kind of counselor you would be. I don't know if you do Little Romeo, right? That's purpose limitation. So these forms that you fill out sometimes, look at them again. Look at them again and ask, why do they need to know this if I'm just taking out a flow service? Why when I'm getting a SIM card, they have to know the name of my dog? You get what I'm saying? Why is that important? On the flip side, when you're making a credit card purchase, you notice they need the CVV. That is a necessary purpose. So we must limit the data we take from our students if we don't need it. They can actually take action, and they should first talk to us before they try that. So be wise, young ladies and young men. Talk to the school first and ask. I want to know what's there. My mother and my father don't live together anymore. I'll be getting a name change for me. I want to know what my name is on the system, so my transcript has my right last name. And that's true. You're going to need a deed poll. So you have to tell the school to change the data. Accuracy, just like a last name. Storage limitation. Once again, people who have passed away, we love you, we miss you, their data remains protected for 30 years. Think about that. So for all of us living and enjoying this mortal realm, our data remains in the hands of the Montego Bay Community College for as long as we live, and 30 years more. Scary, right? You better hope so you have some good grades for the system. You can imagine if your great-grandchildren find out you weren't that bright. I can't imagine. Respect for data subject rights. Persons may be of a particular ethnicity, may not be yours. You should not tell everybody in the the office, say, you know what church, or you know, he used to be up at the place that we got them on there. It's not necessary because they may have left that organization. Security safeguards, clear. We don't have to say much about that. We thank Mr. Russell for letting us know the how and the why. Restrictions on international transfers. This one, I need to touch on for the students. Goodbye, sir. Best of luck in your student career. Speaking of him, he has an engagement, and that's the kind when you're applying to the schools abroad, applying to the Ivy League universities. It says it in the law that not all the data should go over, and you don't have to send it if you don't trust it. So when you're applying to some of these work programs, that's why you go through who? Montego Bay Community College and Student Services, because if you dare but you link me now that Canada, I guarantee you, you're going over there and you're probably going into child slavery. We've had persons call back begging to come home. When they check it out, they did not follow the procedure. They did not restrict their data. That's why that person could have emailed them and reach out to them, because they found out that you were interested. So hackers hack, scammers scam. And that's why these standards exist, all right? As we close, exemptions and the miscellaneous. I know you're wondering, so what if we don't do it? And who can be in trouble? Let's talk very quickly. For the interest and in the interest of national security. So if you see a SWAT team run up in here now, and you're still recording, live on set, and you see the police kneel down in my back, and go so toof toof in my head, and it's being recorded, I can't go, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. If I am a wanted man to be caught and tried by the state, right? That's actually better for me. I want the court to see the knee jerk when we get to my back and go, put me on the ground, right? But that would not be something that is a data protection breach. You understand? They are allowed to enter the premises because they have legal parameters to detain me. Meaning they will pop up with a W word. Law students, we call it a warrant. You hear that? That's the voices of the community college. Data protected legal minds. Big up yourself. 1 point to Gryffindor. Law enforcement, it ties in. So the officer investigating me can find out, does he really eat only veggie patty? Or is he over there biting the chicken patty when nobody not looking? He can investigate that because he's a law enforcement. Journalism, that was today's example. Our press team, our marketing team, and our video journals, who I salute, is actually doing that right now legally. So if you're on camera today and you're uncomfortable, do consult our team and let them know you're discontent, and they should be able to blur you in editing, as we've said. We continue. Research. This very thing here. Somebody went and got a picture of me to put on a flyer. Somebody created an introduction for me for a flyer. You see, if that data was mismanaged and mishandled, you would have heard of me, Mr. Grant, as a stabby man. Because Lynch Tafari Sinclair, according to the news, stabbed up a man in halfway tree because the man troubled his girl. I don't have to do that, you know? I have bodyguards. Alright. Finally, public records. Your birth certificate, which is why the birthday answer was so obvious. Your birth record is one of those that the government has to use in order to facilitate you for marriages, gifts, you name it. Alright, so I just want you to understand that the penalties are serious. You see in bold it says up to $5 million or imprisonment for breach of data protection. That's what we mean when we say serious. And that's just for one recognized offense. How many students do we have? Multiply that. Because we're not talking one breach now, Mrs. Ricketts Evans. We're talking about an entire catalog of students whose data just went zooms into some digital marketer hands. That would be the danger. So if you know what comes here, a student, and all of a sudden you're getting a lot of bombarding emails in your COMSI address, please inform us. We have to investigate where we have some data risk, not threat, because our IT team, they're as airtight as a vacuum of space, but you should let them know. That's why we have Microsoft Teams authentication, and that's why you have the two-step and so many other things to protect you. Finally, they have the powers of entry and inspection without a warrant. I had to get to this because I saw Mrs. Archer there, and I know that when it comes to record keeping, integrity, and data protection, we don't play. We put the PLAY in play, but that is when sports day comes. So That is why she has to be always on the ball. That's why Mrs. Ricketts Evans needs those numbers, those invoices, all the documentation. That's why Dr. Mann needs my claims, my hours, the proof I taught you, miss. Because if the commissioner sends an inspector and he comes in and goes, all right, put down every mouse. Stop recording, sir. Leave it, make it run. Not serious. Make it run. And he would just take all the devices belonging to come see. You get up from your desk, I'm gone. That's when he would do his inspection. That is why we have a data protection officer to say to us, before this happens, do this. Protect our institution. Protect our legacy. Protect us all. Alright? And there's an annual reporting to Parliament, and there's an actual corporate liability. You have to give back money to the government if you don't do it right. 4% of your corporate turnover. So the richer you are, like Butch Stewart rich, the government will take more from you as a penalty. I love this because it's an incentivization for rich, wealthy fraudsters who often can just pollute the Caribbean Sea with oil, pay a little money, and gone again. You know what I'm talking about? So what we do is, the greater you earn, the more we're going to take from it. So there are discussions in Parliament as well. Maybe it should be higher when it actually gets worse in Jamaica. So maybe you'll see it going from 4% to even 12%. Because people like Usain Bolt don't deserve that. You see what happened with his data? It wasn't protected, which is why persons in the company I won't name had access to the man's monetary supply. See that? Finally, if you're getting in the process like we are, and we're getting there, everybody, I promise you we are, it will take us 2 years to safely comply. So this is for my team again. The administration, members listening, all is not lost. If you're still calling me Liz Sinclair on the file, it's not too late. If you're calling him Miss Baker, and we know he's not Miss Baker, it's not too late. We do have 2 years to transition into the law. And that's why we're happy to embark on these kinds of studies to make sure that we don't get caught, behind the wave. As we close, it applies to all of us processing data in Jamaica. It gives us access, correction, objection, consent, withdrawal, and protection. What a selection. Continuing, the obligations are, you must register your school or your organization. You must appoint somebody to protect the information. See there? And if there's a breach, you better let us know. That means if somebody hacks, comes to you and gets access to your transcripts to edit them, we have to report it. We can't keep it quiet. And I know I put in the company in a little bit of a position. If a student finds out that we have mismanaged their data and we did not do anything, you know they can protect themselves. Alright. Finally, the penalties, up to $5 million or up to 10 years in prison. Up to 10 years in prison for mismanaging my data. I hope it's enough of a deterrent. The exemptions are journalists, policemen, research like this, and public records like Your Issues Live, Parliament, and Meeting Up. So those are my findings, and we've discussed them already. I'll just touch the last one. The transitional period allows the company some time to comply. So I will have this document and more available for the admin, the staff, and the students. And you can play the Slido at home with your loved ones. We want data protection to be our business and no longer just the nerds, because we are all going to be nerds in a few weeks. Test time. So study hard, protect yourself, and please keep your data safe as well and check on it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for journeying with me. And I know I'll be seeing you again along the road. We'll both be safe together. Thank you very much.
And coming at this time is Miss Ashley Campbell, who will be making a presentation to Mr. Sinclair.
Alright, thank you so much. Afternoon, everyone. It's going to be very short. On behalf of everyone, I am sure that your presentation was not only informative, but it was also engaging. We learned a lot. There is so much more to learn, and we are willing and open to this because this affects us. We just got our GPA, so I know that we are interested, we are willing to learn from this. And of course, we saw your passion in all of this. We are truly grateful for the time that you took to kind of summarize the act, because I've been through the act. So I know it's a lot and it's also new. So we are very grateful for that. Thank you so much, and we look forward to many more presentations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. Most
Thank you.
welcome. So we have listened to both presenters today, and they have reinforced the importance of digital security, and we want to thank them very much for that. And to conclude our program and to express our gratitude, I now invite Mr. Everton Phillips, Director of Examinations and Assessment, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shaw. With all protocols observed. Good evening, everyone. It has been a great evening. We have been given much information, especially from Mr. Sinclair. I could sit right where I was and listen for the rest of the evening. Truly, it was engaging. Of course, Mr. Karen Russell also did an excellent job. So, I start by expressing special thanks to our astute presenters. They really have done us proud here at Montego Bay Community College. Of course, I can't help but recognize our abled Masters of Ceremony, Miss Sasha Shaw, and of course, as an indication of how grateful we are, Ms. Shaw, for the excellent work that you've done, I'm going to now invite Mr. Akeem Powell. Yes, Mr. Powell, please come forward and make a presentation to Ms. Shaw.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, on behalf of the Montego Bay Community College family, I use this opportunity to express sincere gratitude to you, Misha, our moderator. Thank you once more.
Right, so thank you very much. I just want to thank the members of the organizing committee, members of my department, the Curriculum Development and Assessment Department, for the job that has been well done. Special recognition to Miss Idris Johnson. Mrs. Nahulda Moore Clark, Miss Nicola Amir, who is Director for Marketing and Communication, Mr. Charles Ramsey, who's not here at this time, our Executive Administrator. Recognition must be given, of course, to our supervisor, the Vice Principal for Academic Services, Dr. Sonia Madden. Of course, she has been a tower of strength behind us as we have put this program together. I want to thank the members of the plant management team for the excellent work that they have done in putting this place together, making it look the way it is looking at this time. I want to recognize the members of the IT team for the support that they have given for us to have this very engaging session. Mention must be made of Ventura. Yes, you've come here and you have recorded what we have done, because certainly what has been presented here will be beneficial to others who will be tuning into it as we will upload this to YouTube very shortly. I would like to thank Ms. Annette and her team for providing refreshment. Then, I must thank the members of staff, and I have seen various categories of staff here,
heads of department, senior lecturers, our students. Earlier, our room was full. So we thank you all very much for coming out and supporting us in this very engaging program. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come here, we have learned, we have been empowered. Of course, this means that we are going to leave here now with more knowledge, because of course, knowledge is power, to put into practice what we have learned. It will matter of cybersecurity, what needs to be done, how to rid ourselves of the threats that are around us. And of course, Mr. Sinclair speaking about the whole matter of data protection. Certainly we have learned, and I know that those who are not here will get that opportunity to hear, to watch as it is going to be aired a little later. Once again, thank you all for coming. The Department of Curriculum Development and Assessment at some other time will have some other public lecture on a very important topic. Once again, I say thank you all. So that's it for us, and we look forward to your continued support.